Well, the day has come. We finally got our roller parts. This right here is our old rotating group. This right here is our new rotating group. And you can tell them surfaces are perfectly machined. Perfect back here. Just to give you a comparison, this is our old valve plate. Just got some wear in it. This is what a brand new one looks like. Got no wear in it, just machine marks. These marks right here, this is what it normally would have, would be a large, I'm gonna call it a gouge. And then there would be a large gouge over here on a standard. This is what I ordered, is a right hand. What it is, when it spins, it usually is going to be bigger on the inlet, or when it goes in. When it comes out, it's going to be smaller. These small gashes are what makes this plate what they call quiet. The size of the openings are a little bit different. They're supposed to make this pump run a lot quieter. So we're going to see how that works. And this right here is our old swash plate. You can see the marks in it. It's got some wear in it. We got us a brand new one right here, perfectly machined. We're gonna put all this stuff together, show you how to do it, and see if we can't make this thing run. Just take a little bit of hydraulic fluid. We sucked it up out of one of our barrels, or buckets, so this thing ain't completely dry as we put it together. I rubbed this stuff right here was in the packaging, this blue packaging. It was kind of that sticky oil that's usually in it. So what I did was I cleaned this up with some brake cleaner. I think what happened is it got down in these barrels and made them stick. So there's 3 pins in here. We don't want to lose these. We're going to take them out. And I'm going to take some brake cleaner, parts cleaner, and clean these barrels out. Make sure it's good and clean as we put it back together. That is very tight. What I'm going to do is probably clean these. Give me a clean rag and re-oil everything. Make sure it's good and clean. That's the biggest thing with hydraulics, is to keep them clean. There are 3 little pins in there. I'll show you on this one. These 3 little pins right here. This little gear, dome-shaped gear, sets right on top of them. If it gets off, you're not gonna get it on. So you gotta get it perfectly balanced on top of them 3 pins, and then get all these plungers in there all together for it to run operate. So see, right now it fell off. What I had to do is pick it up and center it on them pins, which it still ain't right, but it gives you a good concept of what's going on here. It's centered on the pins, kind of balanced there, and then these pistons pushing down will hold it tight. I don't know if it's right, but we're gonna do it anyway. Just put us a little dab of grease on there. And when we put this valve plate in, it will stick. May not be able to see in there. There's a little pin in the bottom. It's gonna go right there. I'm gonna make sure that's lined up. And that's it. I don't have my light with me, but that little pin in the bottom right there, there's like a little roll pin sticking out that valve plate's gonna sit on to keep it from spinning. And that grease is gonna help hold that valve plate in there, because this isn't, normally you probably want it standing up, but we're kind of doing it the way we can with the shop, because we don't have a table that's set up for it and all that stuff. So we're gonna do the best we can with what we got. But here we go. We're gonna grab that and stab it in there. Doesn't want to seat properly. Let's see what's going on. Oh, our valve plate's still good. All right, let's try again. One thing I did miss, I should put some lubricant on that valve plate. This whole thing should be, you're supposed to make sure you fill the tank or the casing up. Make sure it's full of fluid before you run it. We should cover all that, but while we're having issues, we might as well address that. Well, there's still a crack, and I took the new parts out, compared them to the old parts. Everything looks the same, to be measured the same. I put old parts back in it other than the valve plate. We've got the same issue. We just don't want to put it in there and this thing be catastrophic failure or something like that, because we didn't know what we were doing. But if you can see, that shaft turns a little bit. I did this with the old parts. We're going to do it with the new parts and show you. Well, I say we're going to show you. There's one little ear in this thing. It gets trapped on the seal. It's not on there. Doing the exact same thing with the old parts in it. Doesn't mean I'm not missing something, but and then this thing got pretty hard to turn. Put this gear on there, a little leverage on it, and it's pretty dang stiff. It turns a little bit. Just wish I knew that was correct or not. Well, broke down, got me some channel locks out, and this thing turns. Pretty much feels like a pump would be. It's tight. Doesn't feel like anything is binding. So I guess we'll take it back apart, put the new parts in it, make sure it's doing the same thing. Cross both fingers and both toes and put it back in there, I guess. Take 47. I don't know if it's that many, but we put the right parts in it, and everything against me says don't pull it in with the bolts, but it doesn't take, I mean, it pulls right in. There's nothing in there that should be holding it back other than making sure everything's good and tight. Maybe that's the case. I mean, I can turn it by hand, but it feels like it's pumping. So I guess we're gonna go with it. One thing we didn't get a measurement on or check is this bushing right here. Let's see if I can get a light. There's a plastic bushing in here, and we're gonna measure to the back of it, to the very front of it. You probably can't read that, but it's pretty much 2 5/8 from the back of that to the flush right here. So this right here is going to be flush to that, and we are just shy of 2 5/8. We're about a 2 9/16, so that should be good. We'll set them set screws. That way that thing will be fully in the plastic. It won't have just a little bit or half of it. It'll have almost 100% of it in the plastic where it's supposed to be. That's all there is to it. We'll get down there and do the bottom one. What I'm doing is taking this side out right here. This is the fill plug for the front pump. I don't know if, I mean, surely there's only one fill plug, so it would fill both pumps, but since we got these lines off, we're gonna go ahead and fill it here and here. And on this side right here, this is the steering pump, and it's got one line in the top, one line in the bottom, so we're gonna take this out too and fill it here, just so everything is primed so there's no dry starting. Well, that didn't hold nothing. Probably got the air trapped in it. Well, here goes nothing. We got it primed. Everything should be hooked up. This thing don't like to start right off. I've got an issue with fuel or something. It don't just bust right off. So it's probably going to turn over a little bit, which will probably help us on the priming. Let's see what happens. Well, I didn't have this shifter right here in neutral. I thought it was, but that's why I wasn't going the first time. Here we go again. I don't know if you've seen that right there shooting out. I forgot to put my pressure gauge back on it, so I'll be right back with you. Well, I put everything back on it that was supposed to be on it. This pressure gauge, well, not supposed to be there. So I got it hooked back up. I made a dang mess when it cranked up, and I opened the door so the exhaust fume don't choke me out, but let's try it again. Let's take it for a test run. Good so far. Well, the saga continues. As you've seen, I rebuilt the pump, replaced all the parts in the propulsion pump. I was looking back through my notes. I had talked to a Volvo tech when I was trying to diagnose this. I'd done everything I could before I replaced those parts in that pump. Luckily, I didn't spend $8,500 on it. I spent about $2,000 in parts, but it still kind of burns a little bit. But those parts had a little bit of wear in them, so we're going to take it with a grain of salt. But I'm coming to the conclusion that it really feels like it's a relief valve somewhere, which there's a forward relief valve and a reverse relief valve, and there's a relief valve in the traction control box. I didn't replace, I adjusted. It's an adjustable one. I just put that thing back in there, I'd show it to you. I adjusted the pressure relief. I pretty much maxed it out and backed it off about a half turn. And what it was doing was it was bogging the motor down like it was deadheaded. So I backed it up. Not quite sure why it was doing that there. But it's still only making, as you could see earlier, 3,800, 3,500. It'll max out at 4,000, but it won't make any more pressure. Which tells me there's got to be a relief valve. I don't think there's a relief valve in the drive motor, or the rear drive motor. I'm gonna triple verify that, and then I'm gonna call my supplier and see if she can tell me what the specs are, or if she's got specs on her relief valves. They have multiple ones. She may be able to say, hey, this one's supposed to be 5,000. I'm gonna say, send them to me. There's been so many hands in this. There was 2 dealerships in it. One of the dealerships sent it up to one of their dealerships out of town and supposedly rebuilt the pump. So who knows where we're at and what kind of parts have been put in it. So I'm hoping, suspecting, maybe they put some skid steer. This is a case skid steer part. I'm sure you could buy, or a pump. I'm sure you could buy 4,000 PSI pressure relief and put them in there and not even know the difference. So we're gonna try that. We'll let you know what happens. All right, I hope, fingers crossed, We're gonna find out. I got some new pressure relief valves, and just looking at them, I'll show you. You can tell right there that that screw has got less threads, that screw has got more threads. So this spring is a heck of a lot tighter. If we look right on the end of that, it's probably hard to see, but it says A175. This from Volvo dealer says A385. So I'm fairly confident that this right here, I hope, is the problem. I've been beating my head against the wall on this thing. If you've watched these videos, you've seen. But let me show you this. So this is the back portion of the pump. Right here it's split. This plug right here is, this pump's upside down as far as forward and reverse. The top one is reverse. This right here is the reverse relief valve port. If you were to put a test port in there, you'd put it in right there, or like a test gauge, like this gauge right here. Right underneath there, you can see a little, you may be able to see a little 90 in that hose coming out. That's the test port on the bottom for the forward, and there's a plug on the bottom for the forward. I just thought I'd show you this one. That other one's hard to see. So this is the A385. We're gonna put it in the reverse hole. This cap with a spring. Let me pull, or I'll show you on this one. These cannot be adjusted. They're crimped right up here on the threads, and I tried like heck to tighten it, and they pretty much ruined it the way they crimped it. And I thought when I first was troubleshooting this thing, I figured, well, I'll just shim it. Well, I put some shims right here, and what happens is this little square block with the holes in it sits there, and the fluid goes in these holes on the side and pushes that bolt down. So that's actually where the pressure relief valve happens. It doesn't happen, the square block just is stationary, so it forces fluid down through this spring and pulls that spring down. So that bolt head literally opens down here. So there's no way to shim these. Whatever pressure they're set on, they're set on. So what I'm thinking is, this pump, you can buy a skid steer. This is a case skid steer pump, and it probably has 4,000 psi relief valves in it. Volvo quoted me $8,500 for this pump, and I went around them, figured out what pump parts were in it, and ordered new pump parts, which you've seen previously. Rebuilt the propulsion pump, but they put this case pump in here and probably just put different relief valves in it, modified it to work in this unit. That being said, somewhere along the line, somebody might have bought a aftermarket skid steer pump and threw it in here instead of rebuilding it. I don't know. I was just suspicious of that. I could have bought this pump for the skid steer for around $4,500. So that was a $4,000 savings, but I was afraid of this issue in particular, that these valves were going to be wrong because it was going to be set up for a skid steer and not this unit that it's in. So here we are. We're going to put them in there. I'm going to get down there. I got to use the impact, and it's going to have fluid and all that. I may not even record it, but I'm going to put it in there, and then we'll run this thing and see what it does. Well, I can't find a good place to mount the camera down here, but I'll show you which one it is. This is the charge pressure behind it. It's a little bit smaller nut. This is the forward pressure relief, and I believe this right here is the pressure relief. This is actually goes to the vibration motor. But we're gonna get it swapped out and go from there. We got the relief valves changed, and we're gonna take it for a spin. Well, I hadn't even made it around the shop. Let me show you something. I've got it about, I don't even think it's half throttle. And we'll see if you can see this pressure gauge when I put it in the board and it surges. See how high the pressure already is. That was about PSI, 4,000 at a half idle. I got faith. So it kind of grunted a little bit, but it climbed this hill like nothing. Up this steep hill right here, I think them pressure gauges are just a little too hot, or for release. I've got a 5,000 PSI pressure gauge, and I'll show you what it's doing. As far as for climbing a hill, that sucker got to the top and kept on spinning. Like it ain't nothing. Don't cross my fingers and say this thing is fixed. It's definitely way stouter than it was. We'll run it around, try to get it on a job, but I ain't scared to put it on a job now. I'm gonna top all the fluids off and take this pressure gauge out.